every single game, well, the 2 games against G2. One thing differing now in this game, Rakan banned on red side away from Wadid. In just about every game yesterday, we saw Zac, Elise, Caitlyn banned on red side, with Caitlyn gone now. You have to think Elise is a potential for Mysterious Monkeys, but Pridestalker is the Kha'Zix he's been playing, the Warwick recently. I'm not too afraid of his Elise. Mysterious Monkeys seem to say they are. They don't want that as a first pick. Everybody has been playing that.
Still give him the respect in the end, but it does leave open the first pick, Thresh. Galio, in theory, still on the board, has not been as high priority in recent patches. To be fair, Kikis, we could have guessed that one, but I don't think he's going to lock it in.
He plays it into tank matchups, typically up in the top lane. Saw that in the promotion tournament out of him. Kikis, you're going to have to show us something differently. But the Kikis, the Kalista, very strong pickup. If the Braum comes alongside it, you can look at how defensive setup the Braum allows Kalista to have a lot of freedom in the backline. And now the remaining AD carries, basically Ashe, Varus that you're looking at for ROCCAT, and Braum does well into both.
Yeah, happy to have the ability to mitigate all the potential damage coming in. That combined with the passive always feels like Braum is a solid pick, but the question is, will he offer the same amount of pick potential that the Thresh does? Wadid, of course, notable for those playmaking supports. You can see some impressive stats from him there at the bottom of your screen.
Interesting Jhin pickup here. We've been seeing it rise in popularity and are expecting it in volumes next week on 7/14. We are on 7/13 still, so...
Thank you. Thank you.
No Duskblade.
Thank you. No Duskblade, no Bramble Vest, no Singed. One more week.
One more week.
Holding out.
And one more pick here for ROCCAT as they lock in the Kha'Zix. Now, that does leave the Gnar susceptible up on the top side, unless Kikis wants to run an Aurelia into it with the last pick. Of course, ROCCAT, we spoke about on day 1 of the week, how reliant they've been on individual picks. The Kha'Zix, the Gnar, the likes of a Vladimir for Betsy. Maybe we'll see them look to target that in ban phase 2 from the Mysterious Monkeys.
CozQ is going to lock in the Cassio for himself. Then you'll have the opportunity to ban out any potential opposing mid laners, but it does limit what Amazing's going to be able to play in the jungle if that's the direction ROCCAT want to take it.
Now, Betsy's most played, looking at his champion pool, that's Syndra now off the table. I don't think it fits him particularly well as a player. He likes to scale, but CozQ already locks the scaling matchup. So he says, okay, let's take away a lot of the early game threat from the Syndra. I doubt a LeBlanc will follow, but it is possible a Corki may very well get banned away, even though Cassio is good into that matchup typically.
Yasuo banned away.
It's because they want to play Gnar. They don't want the Yasuo matchup that we saw earlier this week. We did see the Yasuo come out in LCK and be successful in like a 60-minute game into Gnar.
And if it's possible, if we get a Kikis face cam right now, I want to see if we can see if that was the pick that he was planning. No. If we can read his eyes.
Kikis, the way he was talking about it, it has to be something bigger than Yasuo. We saw that in competitive this week. It's a known counter matchup.
All right, well, we're going to find out what it's going to be. Yasuo banned away from the top lane matchup. Interesting to see. Does show potentially the priority in the Gnar that you already mentioned. Orianna taken away from the Cassio as well. Yet another neutral matchup or potentially winning matchup in many cases.
And it's likely Mysterious Monkeys go jungle on this rotation. You look at the likes of a Rek'Sai or a Lee Sin going into that Kha'Zix. It's something that's not too difficult to call. Gragas, if they feel they can wait through the early game, could have that kind of impact and allow them to flex towards the top lane.
And it's been a pretty comfortable pick. We have seen it pulled out before, so Amazing getting his hands on the Gragas. Tried and true on that option. Guys.
Betsy is not Magifelix. It was played in EU Challenger this past week in the middle lane. Unlikely to get picked here up against the Cassiopeia. Cassio does just kind of have so much more teamfight presence. Ooh.
Oh.
That would be
interesting. Not something we normally associate with Betsy, however, could be a solid pick in his hands, and it's something that we've seen the priority go up on immensely since EU's time at Rift Rivals.
And this is the first time he's playing it this split. The LeBlanc, now if Pridestalker can go mid lane, Kikis, it's either the Aurelia or a boring matchup here, because the Yasuo is banned. I would like to see Aurelia. Kikis used to be a big Aurelia player up in that top.
Not unpredictable enough. You said it, you talked to him. He was going to play something that you couldn't even think.
That's not.
We can think of that, man.
It's kind of fun if we get a Jayce here.
All right, Jayce, exciting. Fun. Definitely still exciting, folks. Should be interesting to see how that top lane matchup unfolds. Have not seen a lot of priority on Jayce in a long time. I was personally hoping for a Yorick. Hint, hint, Kikis. But not going to see it this time around. You can see 4.7 pick percent, 14.1 ban percent, so just has not been a priority realistically at all this split, and does not have a great record either, 0-4 in games.
Ironically, one of the only people that had been playing the Jayce was Jisoo, previous to Kikis joining Mysterious Monkeys, but obviously looking for a little bit of trading potential out in that side lane. Jayce, whether it's a case of out-damaging mini Gnar, certainly you can afford to take a couple more trades than a lot of champions out on that side lane, but I'm interested to see how Amazing can play through the top side. If this Jayce gets so far ahead, he spends the rest of the game in the side lane ahead of the Gnar, he can push down towers and crush through Phaxi, potentially. It depends on how Amazing visits the top lane.
And we saw yesterday in that final game in the Unicorns of Love versus Misfits series, what can happen if a Gnar is left unattended if you do not snowball ahead of him. Well, folks, this is your chance. Head over to Twitter, at LOL Esports is the place. Hashtag ROC win, hashtag MM win, depending on where your loyalties lie. Now, two very different compositions here, Stress. We got the snowballing jungler on the side of ROCCAT. We kind of have a snowballing top laner on the side of Mysterious Monkeys, and I feel like every time we look at these lineups, you have to be ready to talk about that top lane. The crowd are definitely ready to see it. We're getting ready here. It's going to be game one, Mysterious Monkeys versus ROCCAT. ROCCAT on the blue side, Mysterious Monkeys on the red. And short of anything crazy happening in the level 1, I feel like there's a lot to talk about in terms of these individual lane matchups.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kikis might be holding whatever secret pick it is till game 2, perhaps. But
could technically be the Jayce. Maybe he just thinks that we don't think that Jayce is a real pick. But
as you were saying, it's certainly a lane matchup that, because they're both ranged, it's kind of a difference for top lane. Seen a lot of melee top laners like the Renekton's recently, so there's going to be a lot of just back and forth harassment in lane trading and generally farming for a while, because Jayce, although he can output damage, still needs items to realistically be able to control a side lane, just like the Gnar. So I think the impact from Kikis, unless Amazing gets into the top lane, is going to be a little later into the game. And we'll get to that when we end up seeing Jayce do a lot of damage. Another interesting lane matchup. We said Betsy, this is his first time into Cassiopeia. Typically, LeBlanc obviously has a decent early game, but against Cassiopeia, the grounded can have such a big impact. If Betsy misreads a trade, goes in with the distortion, gets grounded and stunned, you lose that fight straight away. And I kind of worry for Betsy now, this early game snowball champion. I want to see Pridestalker in the mid lane trying to get Betsy ahead.
And very different than what we've seen Betsy on in the past. Usually it's the Vladimirs, the Swains, these team fighting sort of tanky, sustained mages that can be in the middle of everything. LeBlanc does not have that luxury. So we're going to see what he can do here. But CozQ, a mid laner that has not necessarily been performing at the top level recently. He has had a few good games, but maybe Betsy's just feeling confident up against this individual matchup.
Sure, and this Cassiopeia has been banned away from CozQ on so many occasions, which is why it rose up through the priority. It's a comfort pick for him. For the last 2 years, he's been playing this Cassiopeia. Just he's very confident in trading, but look at the early game damage we spoke about from LeBlanc up front. However, Cassiopeia in return ends up trading back as well. Both of them just kind of walk away, not really being sure whether they want to take that trade again.
Level 2 should be coming in shortly for CozQ.
There it is.
Postures forward just a little bit, looking for additional aggression here.
And of course,
Blast doesn't connect.
It's not only if Betsy goes aggressive with the distortion, you can't run away from a trade like that. So if that happens with the Miasma available, which it won't be until level 3, then CozQ will kind of trap Betsy there. You can't flash, can't distortion, can't get away.
But at least for now is pressuring in the matchup. We'll see how the trading continues, how they match up individually. But for now, Cassio, just a lot more wave clear, waiting for a few more levels before LeBlanc has that Shatter Orb and some of those reliable early options. Interesting, Wadid denies the Blast Cone, not looking to get surprise ganked from Amazing in the early game. Betsy leaping forward, grounded as predicted, but CozQ still taking a bad end on that trade, forced to pop yet another stack of the Corrupting Potion. But here comes the surprise Fat Man in the mid lane.
I'll be honest, Amazing being in lanes is no real surprise, though. He spends such a significant amount of time around his laners in the lane, specifically around mid lane as well. And Amazing just has become known for this, but Hook down in the bottom lane.
Moving forward, throwing down a bit of damage. Dream's taking a bad end of that trade. We'll check in across the board, though. Looks like Jayce, small CS advantage could just be the way that the lane is being pushed. And now Pridestalker moving in. Gonna take down the Scuttlecraft. Will not get spotted out by a bit of vision, so no knowledge as to where Pridestalker is, but a lot of vision placed on the top side for Mysterious Monkeys. It looks like Yuki and Dreams are gonna be there on their own for now. Wadid playing incredibly aggressive here. Hjarnan backing off.
And we're seeing growth out of ROCCAT, actually. A lot of the discussion after Rift Rivals was about investing in junglers to help them early. And Betsy, he roams out of mid lane, puts a ward down on the blue side jungle, just to be able to track for Pridestalker where Amazing is, looking around security in the mid lane. And that's something that we've not necessarily come to expect out of ROCCAT, is being so sure at these early points. Typically, they've been giving away a lot of leads early on, and I think that was most evident against H2K with the crushing games.
And they got smashed.
Yeah.
You look at these games, you look at the game times, 21 minutes, 26 minutes, these are stomps. Can have no doubt about that. But the question is, can Mysterious Monkeys put on the same level performance? Can ROCCAT maybe step up a little bit here in this series now? And
a lot of that came from the mid lane, but his top lane Amazing's coming too now.
Chain CC goes in, knocked back. Phaxi now in trouble, already burned the flash. Goodbye. That is going to be first blood for Mysterious Monkeys. Kikis and Amazing off to a great start.
As always for Mysterious Monkeys, up in the top lane, getting the kill. Mid lane trade goes heavily in favor of Betsy. This is why we are seeing this pick out of him. Pridestalker invades on the bottom side as well, but there's nothing for him to gain.
And just some awkward trades coming in from CozQ. I feel like he tried to predict with the Noxious Blast where LeBlanc would end up, and now he may be in trouble. He's burned Miasma, and that means for the next 20-ish seconds, Betsy will be free to just kind of push forward as much as possible, but they're not going to go for the aggressive gank under the tower. They know that Cassio has heal. However, ROCCAT have to be careful. They can't afford to keep losing pressure on the top side of the map, even if mid lane is going okay for them. And Amazing now just moving to the bottom side to continue clearing out the jungle.
Yeah, that's the problem on the top side of the map that you were talking about. Phaxi now with no flash. Amazing is very likely to re-gank the top side, and it's as easy as him being in the bush, pushing up. Phaxi uses his wallop and is running out of Gnar at the same time. So actually, maybe the least fortunate time for Phaxi, turns back into that lower resistance, lower health pool champion of the mini Gnar there, and unfortunately can't survive. Amazing, despite being on a jungler that a lot of people will wait till level 6 on to really have that full impact on Gragas, he gets into the lanes early. This is what we were talking about. Typically higher jungle proximities, especially in top and mid, than on average. And that's difficult to contend with somebody like Pridestalker, who has kind of been invisible on the other side of the map.
Definitely not the same thing. And now Amazing, interestingly enough, not spending as much time mid this game yet. And CozQ, definitely someone you need to support. He has been a player that has been struggling immensely in these individual matchups.
And that isn't expected. When there's such a high jungle proximity mid lane, you wouldn't expect to be 9th in KDA and kill participation, behind in CSD, but that's unfortunately how CozQ finds himself, is he has struggled against some of the mid laners here in the LCS. Now, Betsy is one of the ones we expect him to do better on, but Betsy seems competent on this LeBlanc right now. He's taken decent trades. You see the Mimic usage there to lock down vision on Amazing, and Betsy's actually doing a pretty decent job right now on the LeBlanc.
Definitely the case. He's definitely winning a lot of the trades against CozQ. CozQ suffering a lot in the laning phase. You can see Tier going towards the scaling that you mentioned during Champion Select, and on the opposite side, Betsy content just to fight for the laning phase with the Dark Seal and the Dorans. Top side of the map, interesting enough, Jayce. Early Blade of the Rune King appears to be what he is working towards. Bilgewater Cutlass will give him a bit of extra sustain. Phaxi with just the bits and pieces, no full items completed yet.
And one of the reasons perhaps we might see this Blade of the Rune King built early is Gnar is one of the slipperiest champions to lock down. If you can get that hop away, he generally in a long lane will escape you. Has slows in his kit, and in Gnar obviously can crowd control you and deal with getting away, but Kikis will be able to stick with him a little bit better, use the acceleration gate perhaps, the movement speed you get from swapping form. In Jayce, he's just going to be able to stick on top of Phaxi and try and push him down and get as much out of those trades as he can. That might be one of the reasons why Kikis is going this route.
Definitely will allow him to stay close. We saw that from the Kennen from Alfari as well yesterday against Vizicachi. Pridestalker continuing to move in for a little bit of vision. Doesn't look like he pings out or has spotted Amazing quite yet, but definitely can take the 1v1 if he gets the opportunity. Amazing, though, on the way to the bottom side of the map. Control ward, sweeper. He knows he has not been spotted, but the ping's still coming out. Ping responded off to the side. I can't even tell if they have jungle vision or they're both just taking turns hard reading where the opposition is, but either way, both teams seem to be painfully aware of where each of the jungles are.
Amazing was just spotted out by Hjarnan after leaving the bush to get a ward down himself, so they certainly have some sense of vision on Amazing. But this jungle matchup is a really interesting one because Amazing is playing on the team that Pridestalker qualified to the LCS on by beating Amazing. So when you look at how their lineup to this match actually goes, Amazing seemingly has a little bit to prove now, because Mysterious Monkeys have been struggling without Pridestalker in the early weeks. Of course, Llama Bear subbed out for Amazing, and they've been looking a lot better. And now it's this time where Amazing gets to have his own back. Obviously, everybody heard about him not being selected for NIP, and now he's finally here against the other team he was playing up against in the promotion tournament, and now Mysterious Monkeys committing hard to the top side of the map.
Phaxi has to be careful here because the lane swap has come out. Yuki and Dreams not interested in continuing the laning phase, looking to break down this tower and get the game just sped up, trying to increase the pace already. Kalista very strong early, can be strong. CozQ continues to trade aggressively. Flash forward on Wadid. That's the hook. Guz gonna move in, does dodge the petrifying gaze. Looks like the team not even on the same page. Betsy now finally moving in, is gonna get the kill in the end. Scattered calls coming in from ROCCAT, but they come out on top in the end.
So I think Wadid and Betsy were on different pages to begin with, and then Wadid actually outplayed CozQ, getting the Flay to dodge the petrifying gaze, and then Betsy's like, oh, he just used everything. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get this kill now, and Betsy committing to it in the end of all things. And you can see CozQ was not expecting the roam from Wadid up towards the middle lane, and because of it, Mysterious Monkeys actually slowed down topside as well, had enough time for Hjarnan to get up there at the end of this, and you can see CozQ pushing up, doesn't have vision on the bottom side. There's a control ward even blocking him topside, so anybody could have been coming from any way, and look, CozQ was trying to catch Betsy on his way into the aggressive play, but it wasn't really there. Wadid doesn't get hit by the petrifying gaze, beautiful Flay, manages to pick up the kill for Betsy.
That is a frustrated face.
Yeah.
On the side of CozQ, definitely not the start that he wanted, and LeBlanc just continuing to scale up, working towards that gunblade, going to be incredibly obnoxious to deal with, but those small moments where the team doesn't look exactly on the same page are a bit concerning for the side of ROCCAT. The full lane swap, however, has now come through. It's 10 minutes, small gold advantage for ROCCAT, nothing major. Gnar and the Jayce continue to battle it out on the bottom side, but I'm going to be honest, Stress, as strong as Jayce is in the laning phase, it looks like Gnar might just be stronger. Big CS lead coming in the favor of Phaxi. Yeah,
and considering Amazing actually visited that top side and tried to get Kikis ahead, this is still a lane that Kikis is struggling in now. I anticipate that the later we go in this game, Kikis may very well get a bit stronger out in that side lane and have good trading potential. Looking at it, of course, he's maxing the Q and then into the W for hypercharge as tower pushing potential and trading, of course, with Blade of the Ruined King. We'll get a lot of percent damage coming through. Expecting Kikis maybe to start taking over those trades with another couple of levels under his belt, especially once that Blade of the Ruined King is completed. I'm excited to see where he's going on the rest of the build, though. Is it going to be like Ghost Blade, Jayce, super squishy, but real high damage?
See, next patch, I would say 100% Ghost Blade.
Dusk Blade.
Dusk Blade.
Only Blade. Anything
just
with blade
blades. Lots of blades. Yeah, luckily we're not on that patch yet, so lethality isn't quite as obscenely powerful as it is on 7.14 on the live patch. Maybe we'll see a similar build that we saw with Kennen. The double Energizer build on Jayce. I think it would be terrible, but you never know. You never know what's going through Kikis' head. He's got secret plans. He's practiced this strategy through and through. No blocking to come out from Dreams. Hjarnan and Wadid actually doing incredibly well in this matchup, and Yuki and Dreams actually normally a stronger point for the team, but do appear to be suffering now as we get further and further in. Nice crit in. Fade's called back out, lanterned away. Hjarnan and Wadid just outplaying their opponents. CozQ moving forward. That's the chain CC coming in. 3 stacks, 4 onto Wadid. He's going to get taken down, but the TP is coming in. The play will continue. Surprise, it's not the real Betsy. Dream's going to burn some cooldowns anyway, and that's going to be the kill back for ROCCAT.
Yeah. Without having the Fate's Call back available for Yuki, they couldn't get Dreams out of the situation. It would have put Yuki back in the line of fire to get that stand behind me. Hang on here. Now comes Betsy into the fight as well. TP is being channeled from mid lane.
Keep your eyes on CozQ and the Petrifying Graze. This will be crucial. Pridestalker is going to duck away there now in trouble. Yuki is running for his life, but Betsy's going to play cleanup. Flash forward. Phaxi going to take him down. 2 kills for ROCCAT.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade under the tower, plus the trade going in their favor earlier. As Kikis is trying to trade for it on the bottom side. Oh no, Kikis misreads the situation completely. Was waiting perhaps for that hypercharge to come back up, and one auto.
He used hyper.
Yeah, he used it initially.
He needs minions. He needs minions.
Yeah,
that was... Kikis too eager to make up for the tempo disadvantage being suffered by the Mysterious Monkeys on the back end of that play, and because they do not get the tower, it is now Amazing's sworn duty to avenge his friend. No, Amazing! Okay, he's gonna live. Tower 1, Mysterious Monkeys 1. Tying it up.
That's not the kind of score they want to have for this. We killed ties in Europe, okay? That's not how that works anymore. But there was no tie fight under this. Because look, although he gets Betsy with the ultimate from CozQ, there was no tower aggro to be had, so Betsy doesn't get fully punished. ROCCAT, despite losing Pridestalker, still come out ahead on the exchange under the top tower.
And now this LeBlanc is looking scarier and scarier, because yes, there's a Rod of Ages on CozQ, but we're going to have to wait for that to scale up. The Gunblade, however, scales per level, but is also immediately impactful, will make these sustained trades in the mid lane even more difficult on top of the level advantage. But now Kikis and the squad sieging up. Captive Audience there does do a lot of damage to the creep wave, makes it easier for Hjarnan to fire back. Swifties plus IE makes that Jhin so fast you can just weave in and out of the fights.
And ROCCAT holding this top tower is actually doing a decent job of delaying Mysterious Monkeys trying to get Kikis out on that side lane, pushing further ahead. They've actually brought him up here to secure this tower for sure. But one thing Mysterious Monkeys have to be careful with the longer this game goes is this LeBlanc showing up in the side lane where Jayce is. If ROCCAT can actually get that to work, Jayce is so squishy. Now they want to fight up on the top side.
Dreams backing off. There's the curtain call moving forward. Dreams sidestepping what he can. Phase call comes in. They're buying a bit of time, but Amazing has been locked up. Looking for that 4-shot, firing it out. Amazing has been hit up. Wadid on the way in. Pridestalker on the way in. Has to be careful. Yuki not letting him approach his teammates quite yet, but Betsy, eyes on the LeBlanc. No kill coming through. Cannot find the shatter or proc.
The whole reason for that trade is Kikis teleporting to the bottom side, basically in view of ROCCAT, which is a little bit maybe ego coming through from Kikis. He's been having a couple of plays that weren't necessarily ones you'd expect, staying under the tower, not quite being able to finish it off, now teleporting to the bottom side. And that allows ROCCAT full control over the top side of the map as well. And this is maybe the way that Mysterious Monkeys are going to try and get back into this game, is have Kikis make these risky, you know, unorthodox plays and try and snowball back. But Amazing's caught.
Goodbye, Amazing. That is a fed LeBlanc. 3-0-0 the score from Betsy. He was a liability versus H2K. Cannot call it any other way, but this game he is having a massive performance. Those clean roams to the top side have been helping the team get ahead.
And this is only Betsy's second ever game in the LCS on LeBlanc. The first was all the way back in spring 2016, and it was a loss. Now he brings it out up against Mysterious Monkeys in such an important matchup here. Of course, ROCCAT are trying to maintain their position over in the group, and against the bottom team from the opposite group, this is a matchup they must win. And it looked like the addition of Kikis and Amazing to Mysterious Monkeys put this match in favor of the Mysterious Monkeys, but ROCCAT are showing us why that is not the case today.
And more experience together as a team, despite the bad matchup versus H2K. They are showing a much cleaner performance this time around. And things, the Mysterious Monkeys, we look at the gold, it's not too far apart. It's just 1K, but when you look at how well ROCCAT are playing right now, the fact that they have a Rift Herald in the back pocket of that Jhin if they want to push forward, it means it's just going to get harder and harder for Mysterious Monkeys, because this gold lead is guaranteed to grow.
And it feels like Mysterious Monkeys kind of put themselves in this kind of situation. You know, a matchup that is a difficult one to balance early on, with the Cassiopeia early picked and the LeBlanc being available in response. The Jayce matchup into Gnar, which hasn't gone their way.
Oh, the hard read. Kikis, goodbye. Wadid with just a beautiful prediction onto the sidestep from Jayce. Tower's going to drop down as well, and that has to be so frustrating for Kikis.
Has to be, but on the same time, Wadid was given this opportunity with Thresh first pick. The Rakan was banned, but Wadid has looked just as good on this Thresh, and he's showing up once again. The hooks have been landing in the middle lane.
Hook.
Oh.
Play backwards. LeBlanc going to throw down a little bit of damage. Unbreakable, where's that? The chain CC. Now pulled back, but CozQ is going to tough for the double chains. LeBlanc leaping forward again, immediately grounded. Here is the Rift Herald, not much of a creep wave to back it up, but they don't need it. Another tower is dropping for ROCCAT, and suddenly, in just a moment, in a minute, what was a tied game goes to a 3K gold lead in favor of ROCCAT.
And this is so much better out of ROCCAT than what we saw against H2K. Now, of course, their opponents are on different levels, but ROCCAT, this game, are being active on the map. They're trying to make plays throughout this mid-game portion, and Kikis was not safe under this tower. He didn't read the situation quite right. Wadid, on the other hand, read it perfectly, landing that hook, and then they transitioned mid lane with the Rift Herald. That, remember, they got Rift Herald by Kikis teleporting bottom lane in vision and basically gifting it over to them along with a couple of kills. So ROCCAT have really capitalized on what Mysterious Monkeys have given them time and time again already.
Difficult game to play on the side of Mysterious Monkeys. Not even going to stick around, it looks like. Oh, well, pull the Cloud Drake out. Kalista Ren making this one easy to secure. Now Betsy. Luckily for CozQ, misses the chain, or that very well may have been a kill because the LeBlanc just continues to get stronger. 6 stacks on the Dark Seal. Phaxi now in trouble, running for his life. Dreams moving forward. No concussive blow stacks, but it will be a red buff reset, actually. Not going to get it yet. But
and look what was committed into the bottom side. 3 people allows ROCCAT to secure top side from this. Even if it does vision control now, they're playing around this top side way better. And Kikis has not been able to get out on the map and be active on this chase at all.
This is not a good look for the Mysterious Monkeys. Kikis caught just about everywhere, spending his time on, I would argue, questionable objectives as ROCCAT continue to pressure in for now these tier 2 towers. Kikis just continues the laning phase. He's battling up against that Gnar, and despite his early success with the support of Amazing, is even. And it does not look like a good, like this Jayce pick, rather, is working out for the team.
And a lot of it is because Mysterious Monkeys haven't been able to commit resources to getting Kikis further ahead. Because he got that first kill, Amazing visited the top lane, that's great. But then from there, CozQ's been stuck in a situation where everybody's been in his lane, then ROCCAT transitioned down to the bottom side and punished Kikis. So there's always a member of Mysterious Monkeys on their own getting caught by ROCCAT. And it might be Amazing for now, but Kikis was running up the river at the same time.
Does get the flash in the end. And Stress, I feel like you're right. He could have received more jungle attention, but at the same time, he was left alone before the lane swaps were coming out for 5 or 6 minutes. And he was losing every single trade. Maybe the Jayce just is not the right pick into this matchup. Or maybe Phaxi is just too good at this Gnar. But either way, it is a pick that has not worked out for Mysterious Monkeys. And unfortunately, things don't get better the later we go in the game. The Gnar continues to be a massive teamfight threat, impossible to get away from when it comes to split pushing. Jayce maybe can out-duel, but Gnar just gets tankier and tankier and will always have value in those teamfights. And
I think that's why we're seeing Phaxi go Frozen Mallet first, not going for that Black Cleaver, now transitioning into further tank items rather than any side lane split push 1v1, because ROCCAT right now are doing well enough at forcing these fights that in their minds they're just going to say, okay, we'll keep doing this, we'll keep killing Kikis, it will never be 1 versus 1, so why do I need to build for it? And if ROCCAT can maintain that, that actually will pay off for them quite well. The only real threat as we go later in this game is going to be CozQ, because Cassiopeia, even without a massive amount of resources, still has decent late game damage. Being in an even playing field can still output damage against the likes of Kha'Zix, a LeBlanc. You know, it's only going to be Phaxi that's particularly tanky the later this game goes.
Very true. One pseudo tank in the form of Gnar, of course, unreliably tanky as the mini Gnar just has so little base resistances. Could be an issue for ROCCAT. For now, it's not, though. Wadid, that hook's pretty easy to land, but it's just going to keep the fight going. Mysterious Monkeys, interestingly enough, not willing to commit anything. Even after what could have been a pick on Wadid, they don't want to take any risks here. And now CozQ left alone to hold on to this tower as the Jhin and LeBlanc just continue to poke it out.
The reason they don't want to commit anything is because look at the bottom lane. Kikis is still pushing up. They do not want Kikis to have to teleport. ROCCAT never want Kikis to have teleport available. It's the 2 sides of this battle, and whichever one prevails is likely to end up winning the game here. If Kikis has the time on the side lane, theoretically, it allows Mysterious Monkeys back into the game.
Yeah, but for now, unfortunately, Betsy continuing to threaten under the tower. CozQ forced into a side lane matchup against the LeBlanc, and as soon as ROCCAT back him up, he has to leave a matchup that he's already losing anyway. Things are going from bad to worse to a certain degree, but luckily Kikis is trading back. However, Phaxi in the mid lane, really, really hard for this team to deal with. Amazing coming in means Phaxi has to leap out. It is a tower trade in the end, but still a 2K gold lead in the favor of ROCCAT.
At some point, ROCCAT are going to have to turn towards the Baron pit and at least bait. because Kikis is getting too much done here on the bottom lane without anybody reacting. Now LeBlanc goes down there, Hook does land in mid lane, but look, Mysterious Monkeys, no full commit. They can even disengage with Gragas if they need to. This is the 2v1 bottom side that we're seeing that we were expecting, but look, Kikis already sees it coming, and Mysterious Monkeys have pushed back the danger from mid lane and top lane. Okay, they lost the tower, but they traded it on the bottom side. This is actually a beneficial trade for the Mysterious Monkeys.
Yeah, it does work out. They respect the potential gank onto the bottom side onto Kikis. They see 2 members committed. They pressure in the mid lane. Looks like Mysterious Monkeys playing decently well around the pressure, doing what they can to clear out the vision, secure some vision of their own in this barren pit. But unfortunately, the entirety of their jungle is warded up right now, and they just cannot clear everything out. Betsy is hunting, leaps over the wall. Not going to give a chance for the miasma to be cast. Does just go right back. Pridestalker going to find the isolated target, leaping forward. That's going to be Dreams getting popped. Betsy now on a rampage. Amazing, maybe hungry for a little bit more blood, but Kikis already backed off. That is not what the Monkeys wanted. Yeah,
at this point, Mysterious Monkeys just trying to put any damage down that they can at the end of that fight, deny ROCCAT any follow-up, and deny them going to Baron as well, because, as we said, ROCCAT have to somehow get that teleport from Kikis. They try it by going aggressive. Kikis doesn't actively use it. He had already recalled back to the base, so was in an awkward position himself. I like the ROCCAT re-establish control on the top side, but what they need to do, that we saw G2 do very well yesterday against Splice, is continue to force these fights and pull Kikis back. That was one thing that Tom Kench for Mithy did great. They would always just utilize that Abyssal Voyage, get a fight started. Now, while ROCCAT don't necessarily have that, utilize the Curtain Call, utilize all of these longer range abilities, try and get Wadid to land a hook, and try and force Mysterious Monkeys into a situation where they have to regroup.
We'll have to see, though. Jayce now with 2 items strong. Maybe a little bit more of a threat in the side lane. The Black Cleaver Blade of the Rune King. Going to be potent against some of the armor built up on the side of Phaxi. And no crit chance means that the Randuin is not quite as effective as he'd like it to be.
A lot of things in this game are actually a little upside down from what you would expect. Running a double teleport composition, you'd expect us to be talking about ROCCAT being out on the side lanes, top and bottom lane pushing forward, but Kikis seemingly is stronger in Phaxi's mind than the Gnar right now, which means Kikis is the active split pusher, neutralizing one of those TPs already. So it's kind of on ROCCAT's onus to bring back Kikis, because he's going to do a better job than Betsy will out on the other side lane. Obviously, Kikis can't push up to an inhibitor tower while Phaxi is still there, but a couple of things backwards in this game that is different from the norm when you look at summoner spell setup.
I have to respect it. Of course, interesting, as mentioned, that Betsy isn't matching up against the Jayce. Feels like he is strong enough to out 1v1, but it looks like ROCCAT want to utilize the power of the LeBlanc to force plays on the top side. They'd rather give up one lane to get a lane in return than have the two match even. ROCCAT backing off in the mid lane with pressure coming in from the Mysterious Monkeys could mean a tier 1 going down, but they're sticking around long enough to clear the wave. Mysterious Monkeys going to take this chance to get down a little bit of vision around the barren pit, try to stop ROCCAT from being able to invade so aggressively.
You can see Kikis even built to start taking down more tanks here. It's Black Cleaver after the Blade of the Rune King. We were discussing where the options of his build path would go. On the other side, talking about Betsy, actually we're preparing for a fight.
CozQ has to be careful. Flash over the wall, the snare still going to connect us. Chain CC moving forward. Dreams is going to block what he can. Phaxi is right in the middle of everything. Only going to hit one with the ultimate. The Fate's Call, the disengage. They're looking to start this one back up. They're going to take down Phaxi. Yuki dishing out tons of damage. Dreams now set to fall. They're going to have to back off. That is a stunned up Pridestalker. Wadid trying to pull back. And a captive audience gives the disengage. Mysterious Monkeys cannot move through that slow. Shock Blast. Gonna go wide. Mysterious Monkeys still maybe looking to push a little bit further forward. Wadid lands the hook, but there's no one there to back him up. And now, Mysterious Monkeys with the power of the Cassio, the threat of the damage from these 3 carries, may just be able to take down this tier 1 tower.
And Mysterious Monkeys, despite going 1-for-1, want more.
Ooh, the flash body slam. Wadid now in trouble trying to hook out. Not gonna predict on that one. Kikis running down the mid lane. Betsy threatening. He knows he can take out at least one member. Will he have to trade his life in exchange? Yuki locked up. Not going to find the snare in the end. Constantly threatening with the body slam. The flash out from Betsy. Chain connects, disconnects. Yuki running for his life. 4 shot hits on Amazing. May not have been what Hjarnan wanted, and suddenly the trade's a lot more even than we may have expected them to be.
TP from behind. Oh, but he's mini.
Mini Gnar does come in, does use the Randuin, tries to slow up the targets. Phaxi's still incredibly tanky. The rest of the team leaping forward. Dreams on the way in as well. Keep your eyes on that Mega Gnar. He can just strut through the tanks. Mega Gnar comes out, but he's locked up. He cannot leap to safety over aggression. from the side of ROCCAT. Mysterious Monkey's now backing off. ROCCAT desperate to get something back. Exhaust goes in, Dreams goes down, respawns just to die again, but actually I have no idea who came out on top in this trade.
So Phaxi and Dreams both died twice in the space of basically 1.5 fights. There was a mid tower that went down. Mysterious Monkeys didn't use their TP, whereas ROCCAT actually did. So Mysterious Monkeys do edge out the lead from that trade. They are still behind in gold, but this begs the question, ROCCAT's inability to close a game, and then picking, snowballing, non-scaling comps, which is away from what we've expected for them. Now, we praised them early on for getting the LeBlanc ahead, but now you've got to close the game with it.
And to be fair, Jhin's going to scale pretty well into that late game. Kha'Zix will have a lot of damage. Difficult to execute. Gnar, also a huge teamfight impact, but you can definitely say LeBlanc a lot harder to operate later in the game. A lot more difficult to approach that back line, especially with the tanky front line Monkeys have. But you can see nice play coming in from Amazing with the body slam flash.
Yeah, at an unorthodox angle as well. Doesn't go directly forward. But Phaxi at this point, he jumps in, mini Gnar, doesn't even have his ultimate cooldown available for this fight. I checked it on my screen, and it actually wasn't available. In this spectator, it is, but there wasn't that Gnar available. And that means he just kind of runs in to die again.
Look, I mean, he's dressed in his pajamas. Mysterious Monkey's all right, if you want to go back to bed, knock him out, make it look pretty easy. Amazing. Just going to back off. Both teams seem constantly ready to force a fight here. Betsy continuing to push on the top side. Kikis is on the bottom. They're just mirroring each other.
They're just continuing to push. And now Betsy, his item build, there's nothing unorthodox about it. You know, Banshees is a fairly typical item. You know, Merc Treads if you need them in a matchup. But when you're 4-0, I want to see like Gunblade, Morello's Void stuff. Like, get me more damage. Get me more explosive potential to actually close out a game. Whereas Betsy's gone defensive.
And I'm interesting to see how this game has developed. Betsy now looking for a pick onto CozQ, some additional tanky stats. Could have been in trouble, but luckily Dreams was there to back him up. Kikis still on the bottom side. And now when we look at both of these teams, we kind of expected ROCCAT to be on a downswing after their loss to H2K. They're going even against Mysterious Monkeys. And I don't know if we can say if that's an improvement or not. It's hard to tell given the difference in the levels of the team. But for now, this is a very even game. Despite the early leads ROCCAT was able to build, Mysterious Monkeys have been playing this mid to late game actually very well in terms of catching up with ROCCAT.
Much better than the beginning of this game, as ROCCAT was starting to realistically build their lead through and getting ready to say, hey, ROCCAT, this was actually an uncharacteristic performance that looked good through the early game, and despite losing a kill topside, you got the lane matchup back in your favor, you snowballed mid lane to get 4 kills on them, and you're just going to keep going and get these extra towers, but they've slowed down. Mysterious Monkeys have done a good job of reasserting control of their own territory, getting the vision control in their own jungle. It's only that one blue trinket up on the top side that actually stands for ROCCAT. And there's a couple of wards actively placed by Mysterious Monkeys on the lower side as well.
Interesting too now. Betsy on the bottom side does use his passive to continue to scout out on the bottom side, maybe hoping to get a summoner out from Kikis. Lane matchups. No one looking to put too much priority on Baron. A little bit of vision laid down, but it looks like neither team confident enough to take the fight or confident enough in their vision to force a bait. So now, Stress, we exist in a stalemate.
We do at this point. I want to give Betsy a little bit of props and then unfortunately take it away from him again. That mimic down onto the bottom side was nice because it was like, oh, he's walking over a ward. Kikis is maybe he'll end up backing away and recalling. Well, there was the second ward that actually saw the real LeBlanc moving through his own jungle.
I mean, to be fair, that's Betsy doesn't know, right? It's not like Betsy didn't stood on a control ward and was like, he's not going to see this.
It was nice, though. Like a nice attempt with that mimic to get it to work. And especially since, as we said, this is only the second game of LeBlanc Betsy has played. So I'm trying not to be overly critical at the same time of him.
Oh, Amazing now in trouble if they can take down the jungler. This will mean Baron for the ROCCAT team, but Amazing is pulling back. Dreams, once again, could be the sacrificial lamb. Kikis is on the way in. Nice shock blast. poke down Betsy, but neither side going to commit any more than that. Amazing, though, in dire straits in terms of health bar. And Yuki has to be careful, is going to get locked at the team now, leaping forward. Pridestalker on the front line, but a 3-man stun. CozQ may not be enough. Wadid goes over the wall, but he is all alone and isolated. Fate's Call going to save the support, and that's actually the kill for the Mysterious Monkeys. Dreams goes in again for some reason. Phaxi knocks the team back! What an ultimate! ROCCAT now poised to take the fight. No hope left for the Mysterious Monkeys. A clean fight. Kikis TPing in. He's trying to fire back. Can he get it? A shock blast. The Jhin too fast with the crit, with the movement speed. Hjarnan on a rampage, and what a fight from ROCCAT.
We thought maybe Kikis could clean up, but unfortunately he's not tanky in any stretch of the imagination, and there's so much damage here.
Bye-bye, Jayce. That's going to be the ace for ROCCAT. The Baron now an easy take for the team, and whew, dead even for so long, but ROCCAT finally find a fight.
And finally find the punish on Mysterious Monkeys not using the teleport early on in these engages. And it's all on Phaxi getting that re-engage after the pullback, then bringing Wadid into the fight for Mysterious Monkeys. It looked very difficult, but 3-person Gnar into the wall allows the cleanup. And it was only as that Gnar hit that Kikis even began channeling his teleport, because Mysterious Monkeys thought they'd already won this fight. ROCCAT initially looked to get the pick on CozQ, and this looks like such a great catch out of Wadid and the rest of the team. Hook right onto the Cassiopeia. He gets dragged into the backline, and Mysterious Monkeys here feel like they have such an advantage, but where is it that it goes wrong?
Eyes on Phaxi.
Phaxi, flash in.
Ooh, that's the real taxi, folks. In case you were wondering, that is the Phaxi taxi you do not want to mess with. Team fighting presence on point. And you can see Kikis, yeah, sadly, as a Jayce, you're really good at 1v1ing. You're really bad, as in most champions, at 3v1ing.
Yeah, there was low health targets. I'm like, oh, maybe he can, you know, get a great Q to the skies, kill one person, get another. Nope, he just gets blasted by Betsy as he gets into that fight. And despite, you know, we're talking about Betsy early on, he's done a great job. 5-0-5, Mysterious Monkeys want to fight. Hold
that thought. Wadid now running for his life. Will use the box to try to disengage. Has hooked up one member. Betsy is on the backside. A lot of damage onto Yuki. Phaxi leaves it again! Not going to get anybody, though. Yuki, nice sidestep, dodging what he can. Yuki still alive. Nice movement coming in for the Mysterious Monkeys. The curtain call not finding anybody. That's not going to close the show, because Mysterious Monkeys are in a dominant position once again. Wadid plays savior. But even with a Baron buffed up 3 members strong, 2 being deleted in that fight means Mysterious Monkeys have advantage.
Even up against the Baron buff, we come out of the replay, and Mysterious Monkeys are right about to catch ROCCAT in the middle lane, taking it right to them and just running through these towers. Now they're going to get an inhibitor from this, because Jayce has such good pushing potential in this lineup, and Mysterious Monkeys, from what should have been the detrimental play to give ROCCAT the Baron to maybe close the game, suddenly Mysterious Monkeys just surge right down mid.
And we'll take a look at it one more time. The
Amazing got nothing.
Caught out, split up. They're losing the exchange. Now keep your eyes on the Mega Gnar. The ultimate, the QSS Marshall poise coming in from Yuki to survive there. That was actually incredibly well played.
It was really well played, and then Pridestalker and Phaxi end up dying super quick on the top side. You can see the amount of damage output that's comparative between these two teams. And remember, this is a snowballing LeBlanc. There's 5-0-5, a 4-0-9 Jhin in that fight, and neither of them had as much damage as Mysterious Monkeys because they were all running away.
And that's the scaling you talked about in the hands of CozQ. Level 17 Cassio approaching the 6-item point that is just so special for anyone who's played against that Cassiopeia. Doesn't need boots, always happy to have a 6th item. And now, ROCCAT though, still actually surprisingly confident to move forward and make this play. I like that they're not backing off. They know they still have the Baron buff. They know they can win a fight. And this is an incredibly scrappy game.
I love how he doesn't need boots, as if you know where she'd put the boot to wear it anyway.
Doesn't, yeah. No, I said boots. Doesn't need,
that's true.
Puts them on her hands. Walks on her hands, you know? Seems impractical. Probably why she doesn't use them. Look.
Champion design with Drakos. Just
I want a snake
on hands,
walks on its hands. That's new champion. Spoilers. Moving forward in this game, of course, I do not feel like Mysterious Monkeys are winning the game. On the other hand, I don't feel like ROCCAT are winning the game either. I have no idea who has the advantage. The gold in favor of ROCCAT. But they have 20 seconds left on a Baron buff that is not really going to have done anything outside to take out a tier 2 tower. And Mysterious Monkeys are the ones who out-executed in a fight.
Look at this. Look at this. Kikis is running after a 505 LeBlanc because he's got Guardian Angel, and he's like, I'm just going to run at this, and somebody's going to come and help me at some point. He is so far ahead of Phaxi when you look at the lane matchup on its own. Guardian Angel was completed. Phaxi has like no way to trade against him. He's just got defensive stats for team fighting, which doesn't exactly utilize half of Gnar's kit.
Very true. To be fair, Mini Gnar with the Hyperproc still does a lot of damage, but the second you turn Mega, it's like, you did 3 spells, you did 800 damage. Oh, well, I'm just going to continue to do 200 or 300 DPS per second to you, Mr. Tanky. Of course, has Blade of the Rune King, has Lord Dominic's Regard as well, so it's just so much damage. Now with QSS to follow up as well.
DPS as a velocity, damage per second per second. That's how I like it. That's how you accelerate damage, and that's what Mysterious Monkeys are trying to do right now.
You have to be careful though. ROCCAT walking through the pinch means it's an easy shock blast to connect onto Hjarnan, but not doing a ton of damage. Enough lifesteal from the Curial Scimitar and that Keystone to keep him healthy. Team fight advantage, I feel like, is in theory in favor of ROCCAT, given that they have the Gnar, the LeBlanc, and the Jhin, who are all incredibly strong right now in terms of what they can offer, but we saw Mysterious Monkeys out-execute in the last fight. And
characteristically as a team, ROCCAT, we've always said, better late-game decision-making than a lot of teams when it gets this late on. Yes, okay, that's because they typically are playing the likes of a Vladimir or something that scales very well in the middle lane. Mysterious Monkeys, on the other hand, however, are just pushing on the side lane as much as they can with Kikis. They've got these 3 Cloud Drakes that we haven't really touched on throughout the game, and now they're starting to become more influential because it means Kikis can chase people down in that side lane very effectively and can get away at the same time, and now they're starting to have this effect. It's one of the reasons why Mysterious Monkeys have been able to lock ROCCAT in these fights without ROCCAT getting away properly.
Very true. Pretty influential factor in that mid lane, forcing ROCCAT into a bad position. Fortunately, the second you enter combat, the Cloud Drake movement speed disappears, so Amazing slowed up there for a moment. Now, Baron 58 seconds away, Elder 36. This game will could very well end if the teams fight for this next objective, if it is a decisive fight. But with 2 on the map, they may just opt to trade. And Mysterious Monkeys taking this tower for free. ROCCAT in no position to contest.
And I am having horrible flashbacks, Drakos, to Mysterious Monkeys versus G2. Mysterious Monkeys were trying to split push. It was on a Camille, and the rest of the team started Baron, and Yuki was playing Kalista, and everything looked great, and they had the Ren stacks, and then he ran.
But he learned stress. We were both there. We were both very upset that the Kalista did not get the Baron. But this time, we have to have faith in Yuki. Mysterious Monkey fans should as well. But if you're ROCCAT, you're hoping. You're like,
please mess up Rend once again. 1 in a million, but...
All right, 3 stacks. Only the Elder Dragon is available. They're burning this one down quite quickly, trying to get the Kha'Zix away from the pit. 4K, 3K, getting lower. This should be the free smite coming out. They are going to get it in the end. That's the secure coming in for the Mysterious Monkeys. ROCCAT not feeling comfortable to force the fight. No Mega Gnar coming in. A little too slow on that timer. And now, ROCCAT are just going to give up Baron.
Yeah. It was amazing they got that as well at that point. I don't know why ROCCAT... I think they're going to try and challenge.
The goal is to sink the Smite Rend. Yeah. So if Rend or Smite gets it, usually everything is fine.
Right, it's fine. It's just normally the Kalista does some more damage, so you're like, okay, got it, that's fine.
All right, if they can steal this Baron, they may be in a good spot. They cannot. Wadid now has to flash out. Fate's Call moving forward. Kikis, will he speed up the team with the acceleration gate? Are they just going to run forward the box? So much true damage coming out with the Blast Cone respawns. Team opts to go their separate ways, and now a Baroned up, Elder Dragoned up, Mysterious Monkeys are ready to run it down the top lane and take out ROCCAT.
And it's only through securing the Baron that they have secured a gold lead right now, but they should have everything they need to close this game. You prevent fights utilizing the Gragas ultimate. You've even brought Kikis over at the same time. I don't think that's necessary, but ROCCAT maybe want to go here. Phaxi's mini Gnar, he's only just cooling down.
Coming down, is just now stocking up the Rage. Kikis knows he has the true damage advantage. Hook connects onto Amazing, maybe not the target they want. Mysterious Monkeys gonna back off the best they can, using that acceleration gate to disengage, and ROCCAT not finding an opportunity to force a fight means that they give an inhibitor for free, and I'm sad to say that is the trend for the last 3 minutes of the game. They did not contest the Elder Dragon. which of course is incredibly difficult against the Kalista, but then they immediately did not contest the Baron either. And I understand that one, because you don't want to fight a 4-Dragon stack team, but why so willingly give up these objectives without forcing a fight? I understand it's difficult to execute. I understand you don't have the Mega Gnar, but it does not feel like ROCCAT are planning out these moves.
It feels like ROCCAT are waiting for Kikis to be out on a side lane to somehow kill him and then have the numbers advantage and run back to the team fight on the other side, but that's not really going to happen now. Like, Mysterious Monkeys, they've got a Guardian Angel on Kikis, have had it for a while. There's one on Yuki as well, so to win these fights for ROCCAT is exceptionally difficult right now, and as you said, they're not even trying to contest. It's as if they're waiting for Mysterious Monkeys to make a mistake and trying to win the game that way, and that isn't exactly a great strategy for trying to come back. But with this LeBlanc, they're kind of running out of options now. There are very few targets that you can actually blow up.
A little grim on the side of ROCCAT. Running out of options very quickly. Hjarnan still very strong on the Jhin, but each of those shots from Whisper is gonna have to be a kill if they want to win a team fight. CozQ moves forward, zones them off with the Miasma. Hook not going to connect onto anyone. Betsy on the side throws down a bit of poke. Dreams with a quick trigger finger, not actually going to block anything, but ready if any follow-up comes through. And it's just the slow siege coming in. Betsy poking as much as he can. 1 minute left on this Baron buff.
And now Hjarnan does have a decent amount of damage this late. Of course, has Knight's Vow from his teammates to keep him a little healthier as well. But you look at it, Critical Strike, you've got the double energized weapons, means that if he hits somebody with an energized 4th shot, that is really going to hurt them. Or Phaxi, however, he's taking so much damage when he's mini-Gnar that it's so tough for him to get into the fight. Trying to build Thornmail to deal with the damage that comes out of Mysterious Monkeys. They might want to go.
Well, connects on the Yuki. Redemption comes out to mitigate. 30 seconds left on the Baron buff. ROCCAT doing well to hold out this long. Mysterious Monkeys, they are not looking for a fight right now as it looks. But unfortunately, Phaxi being committed at the top side to stop the super minion wave means that Mysterious Monkeys are just going to move in. They're going to break the tower. Amazing's going to look to start the fight. Wadid has been isolated and will be picked off here. Mysterious Monkeys in the driver's seat. Now Hjarnan is in trouble. The ultimate comes out. The CC all going to connect, but they may not have the damage to the follow-up. Gargoyle's Stoneplate keeps him healthy. Phaxi leaps forward, but CozQ with the flash forward means Hjarnan is dead. Mysterious Monkeys, they're running through this team, and after throwing so much away, after a 4 or 5K gold lead for the side of ROCCAT, Mysterious Monkeys are looking to take the game, but CozQ is going to drop in the process, and a little bit of a messy finish here to close out a little bit of a messy game. Taking a little more time to do it at the end of the day. That is going to be the Game 1 win for the Mysterious Monkeys.
It didn't always look like Mysterious Monkeys were going to win this game. Kikis struggling a little bit despite the early help, and CozQ dying a couple of times in the middle lane. But, I mean, ROCCAT just didn't seem to have the will to fight late on. They couldn't find the fights utilizing this LeBlanc. And Betsy, obviously, a little frustrated there, quits out a moment or two early. He was 6-0-5 on that game. Perhaps one of Betsy's individually best games we've seen, but ROCCAT couldn't bring it together as a team to snowball the rest of the game.
And when we look at it, I think I loved the LeBlanc pick in terms of an individual performance, but it's not a team fighting pick.
Nope.
And I feel like team fighting success has been historically the success for ROCCAT as a lineup and the success for Betsy. Now, individually good performances in lanes are great, but if your team is not comfortable playing kind of the 1-3-1 style that a Gnar and a LeBlanc may put you into, it just doesn't look like it worked out. And Mysterious Monkeys definitely closing it out with some confidence. And they struck first here against ROCCAT. Let's head over to the analyst desk for more on that Game 1.
Thank you very much, Drakos, and I have to agree with you there, LeBlanc, that you get 3 kills in very early in the game. We saw what happened when it was in Perks' hands. You just roam all over the map and kill everyone. So even though you're commending the individual performance, I would say the roaming and exerting the pressure could be lacking, because you can basically do that on your own. But obviously the game slowed down a fair bit, and we just wanted to highlight a couple of things through that. First up, early game, Wadid had a lot of influence. Not Pridestalker from the jungle making the moves, but that Thresh pick paying dividends for ROCCAT in the early game.
Yeah, I want to take this opportunity to highlight a question that I commonly get asked, which is like, when do I roam as a support and when do I ward as a support? And this is a great illustration from Wadid as to when you should be doing that. So if we bring the replay up, we're going to start off by looking at how it's all set up down in the bottom lane. Because what you'll notice is that Mysterious Monkeys bottom, they've just gone back to base. So ROCCAT Wadid, he's currently sitting on 327 gold. He's got nothing to buy. So rather than go back to base with his AD carry, he's looking for roaming opportunities. So when you look at the mini-map, what you can see is he's going to clear out this ward, and then what you're going to see is the opportunity for him to make some kind of a play in the middle lane. You're going to notice that in the middle, there's a bit of communication between him and Betsy, which is very much that just let CozQ push in the middle lane because he sees nothing. We have pink wards all over the river. We have full knowledge of what is going on. And once CozQ gets baited in a little bit too much, Wadid comes in from the side, he gets locked up, and then you start the snowball for the LeBlanc. And this is just a great example of how you can use vision and an understanding of where your opponents are on the map to try and snowball some of your laners and get this LeBlanc going.
Snowball the right lane there for the LeBlanc. Also, just after that, we saw them just moving around the map very well and pushing turrets all across. Even though they lost that first tower in the end to Mysterious Monkeys, it seemed like ROCCAT was very much in charge of the game. And then the split push has to begin, obviously. And you had a bit of frustrations concerning the fact that you have the LeBlanc who's very fed, but you're sending your Jhin and your LeBlanc up to the top lane to try and push when you could have made other moves across the map.
I think that the interesting thing that we saw from ROCCAT was that they just showed a lot of respect towards Mysterious Monkeys they didn't necessarily need to do when at one point your LeBlanc is 5-0-5, right? We saw what Perks can do with a fed LeBlanc where you can just move around the map and kill everyone. They had the ability to do that, but they just were a little slow to do all of the plays. And when you aren't super proactive and you aren't trying to continuously push over and over and over again, then a team like Mysterious Monkeys that has Kikis and Amazing, they have a lot of experience, they know how to come back, and all they're waiting for is a good fight here or there to then try and punish you.
And so much then comes down to for ROCCAT, also for Phaxi on his beloved Gnar, if he can get his moves off or not. And we're going to take a look at two fights because unfortunately for ROCCAT, it all came down to the team fighting in the end. And this is where an opportunity that they get and they try to capitalize on, and it looks good from the start.
So you can see here, the initial setup from ROCCAT is actually pretty good because they're spread out, they have a good collapse coming out, and the problem is they just can't properly coordinate the target that they want to shut down because Amazing ends up backing off. And then notice where Kikis goes. He's moving back to the top side. Mysterious Monkeys is saying, we don't want to fight right now, we just want to disengage. Yuki takes a very greedy and dangerous path, and ROCCAT see this as an opportunity to force a fight. A good flash from CozQ means that Mysterious Monkeys now feel confident that, hey, maybe we can go for this 4v4 if we have the TP in as well, but, there's a Gnar on the enemy team, they're waiting for the re-engage, Amazing can't get the flank, the TP is extremely late, and the coordination from the Mysterious Monkeys just seems completely off.
Yeah, the late TP was something that struck me particularly, especially because that's one of the things that when you think of very experienced players, pulling that trigger at the right time is crucial. But then right after this happens, and so much comes down to a good or a bad Phaxi Taxi coming in.
Yeah, I mean, this was the great fight the Mysterious Monkeys were looking for. And you have to praise them for their proactivity. The fact that they see just a single individual standing by himself in the middle lane, they just go 5-man unit, rush it down mid, find a pick, grab it, and they rush down for an inhibitor. And ROCCAT, they just weren't expecting that kind of engagement. And this is just goes back to what we were talking about before. They're a little slow on picking up what's going on the map. They can't read the situation in the immediate moment and see these opportunities or even risks that could end up hitting them in the face.
And this already turned into a very, very long first game, a very scrappy one. And to me, it really came down to the beginning of the game where that first pick, Thresh for Wadid, he made the moves, he made it happen. But Braum just pays out dividends in the late game. That Unbreakable countered so many of the attacks coming out and was very well played, I would say, from Dreams as well, just protecting CozQ when he stepped a bit too much forward and tilting that play. So a game like this makes you think, 3 scrappy games, or do you think that Mysterious Monkeys can alter kind of the mistakes they made in this early game and come back with a strong game too?
Ooh, I think that Mysterious Monkeys have a good chance to be able to clean up their early game because I would have liked to see a little bit more. We saw an early yank top from Kikis, from Amazing onto Kikis. He didn't really do much with it. Sure, he was this great split pushing threat, but a lot of fights were happening that Kikis couldn't get involved in, that's how they fell behind. So I think that if they invest more into Kikis, get him snowballing, getting involved in more of the fights, that is a better utilization of him as an individual. Whereas for ROCCAT, I think that their game plan was solid. They just need to read the map a little bit quicker. They need to register, where do we have our vision, what's available on the map, and just increase that communication so they have a clearer game plan of what they need to do for the rest of the game.
See, that happens. Mysterious Monkeys can take a crucial win here against ROCCAT. The players are preparing for game 2 as we speak. Stick around.